Hello and welcome to another episode of Xdrive, and this time around we're driving BMW 55e plug-in hybrid. This is a cousin to the i5 that we previously drove in two different versions. So this one here is the top of the line plug-in hybrid in the BMW lineup, and the only one available in Canada. In Europe they also have the 530e rear-wheel drive, and this is a 550e all-wheel drive with 483 horsepower, good for about 4.4 seconds 0 to 100, equipped with the battery that is sized around 25.7 kilowatt hours, but of that, that's 22 kilowatt hours gross, but the net is only 14.4. For some reason, in Europe they get 19 kilowatt hours available. Here it's only 14.4, giving it a rated range of 53 kilometers. And we'll be comparing it with the Mercedes E53AMG sedan, which is the only plug-in hybrid E-Class sedan available here in North America. The base price for this vehicle is $85,000. As equipped here, it's $105,000. The Mercedes E53AMG sedan starts at $105,000, and the press car that we'll be getting in the next few weeks will be fully loaded with options up to $150,000 or so. We'll have a quick walk around of a sample of the E53AMG as part of this video as well. So the Mercedes, of course, is more powerful and it has a bigger battery. The Mercedes is 577 horses standard, or up to 604 horsepower with the race start upgrade, which is optional. The battery is also bigger at 28.6 kilowatt hours gross and the 19 kilowatt hours net. So the rated range is actually 69 kilometers, or roughly 15 kilometers more than this BMW. Let's give you a quick walk around of this 550e 5 Series. As you know, BMW is using a universal platform for both pure gas plug-in hybrid and pure electric cars. The Mercedes chose a different route, making two completely different cars. So the E-Class is available as a gas and plug-in hybrid in a one version, and EQE is the full electric, and it looks completely different. Where with the BMW, they pretty much all look the same. It's very hard to tell them apart. Okay, so let's have a quick look around. So this car, our test results will be affected by the fact that this car is equipped with an M package with upgraded 21-inch wheels and winter tires on them. The standard wheel on the 550e is a 19-inch rim, so this one is much bigger and also equipped. Now we're doing this test in January. This is our first test of the year 2025. And so the size of the rims and tires, as well as the fact that they are snow tires, will affect our results that we'll discuss in a moment in terms of the consumption and the range. So the charge port here on the BMW, which is different than the i5, the plug-in hybrid BMWs have charge port here on the front left driver's side, and it only has a level 2 charging, level 1 and level 2. It does not have the level 3 capability that the Mercedes has. The other difference with the Mercedes is that BMW 5 Series, whether it's plug-in hybrid or pure electric, has a fixed glass roof. Mercedes has an opening sunroof. So this car is equipped with a comfort access and also upgraded driver assistance package with hands-free driving. The one thing we noticed in this car is that the sensors for opening and closing the car. So right now it's closed. Of course, the car will unlock itself when you approach the car, but it's only located in the front door. So the car unlocked itself. So some of the cost-cutting measures include the fact that, number one, the soft close is not available, and that's pretty much what we have in our X5 that's now 6 years old. The sensor for closing and opening doors is not available for the rear doors, which is kind of unusual. So some of the cost-cutting measures that you see here in this 5 Series. Okay, let's jump inside quickly, show you the interior space inside the car. So it looks identical to the i5 that we tested previously. So I'm now in the very comfortable position here in the front. Let me quickly jump in the back to show you the space in the back, because we're going to do the same with the E-Class E53 AMG Mercedes. Of course, now I have to unlock the door manually using the button on the door. This BMW is equipped, it has 15 grand worth of options. So you see here the blinds. There is blinds for the rear doors, manual blinds, and there's an electric blind for the rear window. Okay, so here I am. The space is very, very similar to the Mercedes. In the Mercedes, I had a bit more room for my feet. Here, the room for my feet is pretty tight. So ideally, I probably would have to raise the seat a little bit to give myself more space for the feet. And this is basically, the reason for it is that this is a universal platform, which is used for pure electric, where the battery is under the floor. And even though this is a plug-in hybrid, the floor height is standard. So this is where the less leg room for the feet comes from. In terms of the room for my legs, there was a little bit more room in the Mercedes when I was seated in a comfortable position in the front. So Mercedes wins a little bit on the rear seat space. Okay, let's quickly show you the trunk, because this is where the major difference is between the Mercedes and the BMW. Actually, the BMW trunk in terms of the volume is almost twice the size. So 370 for the Mercedes, 550 liters for the BMW. It's a much bigger trunk, it's much deeper. There's no storage under the trunk, because that's where the battery is. And the shape, it's kind of unusual. So the Mercedes trunk sits much higher. It's level with the lip here. The depth is about the same, but the volume is almost 50% less on the Mercedes. So on the trunk space, the BMW definitely wins. Okay, so that's about it. Let's jump inside and give you our drive impressions and consumption statistics. Okay, so this is the Mercedes E53AMG that we're comparing the 550e BMW with. It's a little bit more money. It starts at 105 versus the 85 base for the 550e. It has also more power and slightly bigger battery. So it's 577 horsepower versus 483 for the BMW. And the battery is 28 gross versus 22 gross on the BMW. The net available is only 14.4 for the BMW. This one here, the Mercedes doesn't announce its net capacity. The rated range though on the Mercedes is 69 versus 53 rather on the BMW. This one comes with the MBUX Hyperscreen, which is going to jump in and compare the space in the rear, and perhaps this is the fuel cap. The big difference with Mercedes is that it comes with fast charging capability. So it is a larger battery, and as you can see, it has the CCS fast charging capability up to 60 kilowatts, which is a big bonus. So a combination of longer range, bigger battery, and fast charging is a big bonus for Mercedes. Another bonus is the opening sunroof, you can see here. So I'm gonna sit, you swipe the door as with all the other EQ Mercedeses. So the seat is in kind of a fairly comfortable position here. It's just okay. These are the AMG seats with yellow stitching, etc. This car, as you see it here, so the base is 105, but with all the options here that you see is 150 grand pretty much. The BMW we're driving is 85 base, 105 as driven, as tested. So the typical AMG leather seats. There's the big MBUX right here. Beautiful dual opening sunroof. So this is a pretty comfortable position. Let's see what the space in the back looks like, and then we'll look at the trunk. Okay. So here is the rear seat. So again, I'm 190 centimeters or 6 feet 3, and the space is good. I'm not touching the seat in front of me, so it's pretty decent. There's space for my feet as well. The other seat is pulled back a little bit more, so there wouldn't be much space for the passenger in this particular situation. This is the fixed part of the sunroof, and that's the opening part of the sunroof. So let's have a quick look at the trunk space in the back. Okay, so here is the trunk space. It's pretty deep. The opening is not very large. And is there something under the floor? You can't really access, so I don't think there's any storage under the floor here because there's no way to access it easily. So what you see is what you get, 40-20-40 split. And here's the trunk space. It's pretty, not very deep at all, and the opening is not very large. So that's about it. We'll get a chance to drive it very soon for you, so it'll be in part 2 of the comparison. For now, this is just a walk around and impressions of the interior and the looks of the car and some of the specs for you. Stay tuned for drive in the 550e. Okay, so here we are inside the 2025 BMW 550e plug-in hybrid, a sibling to the previously tested i5 pure electric BMW 5 Series cars that we tested. So this is a plug-in hybrid. It's the only plug-in hybrid 5 Series available in North America. Previously, in the previous generation, there was a 530e, which was a much less powerful and with a much smaller battery. It was a 4-cylinder with the electric motor. So here what we have is a total system power of 483 horsepower, which is portion between 200 horsepower roughly electric motor, so much more powerful electric motor, and a 313 horsepower turbocharged straight inline 6 engine for a total power of 483. This is good for about 4.4 seconds 0 to 100, which is not as quick as the AMG Mercedes, which is good for 4 seconds in standard form, or 3.8 seconds in the with the race start upgraded option. Then again, we have to mention that Mercedes is of course 20 grand more, so it's 105 Canadian instead of 85. But then again, if you stuff the Mercedes with a bunch of options, like most of the press cars will be, around 150 grand, then you're looking at competing with BMW M5, which is available as a sedan and a wagon. They are priced at 145 Canadian and 150 Canadian respectively. So that's a genius that BMW decided to bring the wagon and the M5. It's too bad that they don't bring this regular 5 Series in the wagon version, which is too bad. But at least we get the M5, and hopefully, because it's a plug-in hybrid, we'll get to test it for you soon as well. So again, for the price of a fully equipped E53AMG sedan Mercedes, you get basically a M5 BMW, either in sedan or wagon format. And then you have even more horsepower. The Mercedes has, again, I mentioned 577 horsepower or 604 with the upgrade. This one here is 483. The M5 actually is up to 717 horsepower. It's the most powerful BMW ever, and it's good for just over 3 seconds 0 to 100 acceleration. So again, just the sheer amount of options in terms of the plug-in hybrid 5 Series. Here, sorry, cancel. Yes, you can.
Unfortunately, I didn't understand that.
Unfortunately, when you mention the B word, the system listens and it tries to respond. So we cannot mention the B word, meaning the brand that we're testing right now, because the system is listening and will try and respond to you. So yes, in that respect, so we have to now kind of mention to you the range that we got. We tested this car this week, which was early January, and the temperatures were anywhere from -20 to 0. And of course, this would affect the range. The most we were able to drive in it, in the combination of city, side roads, and also Some highway was a total of 50 kilometers when fully charged with preconditioning. Without preconditioning in minus 20, which we also had this week, the most we got in city driving was about 28 kilometers. So preconditioning, very important. And side roads, you can extend your miles better on the side roads versus maybe the stop and go in the city. And of course the highway, you would get less just simply because of the speed. So this 200 horsepower motor here is located between the engine and the 8-speed transmission. So the electric motor goes through the same 8 speeds as the engine would. So that's about it. Again, the consumption, on this, we had the lowest consumption we had when we were heading on Don Valley Parkway South. We got about 24 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is not bad. Most of the time in extremely cold weather, we had consumption of over 30. So we'll have to try and see how it compares with once we get the chance to test the Mercedes E53AMG with a bigger battery and more power. Then we'll be able to compare the actual range as opposed to the rated range. And again, as we mentioned, this car has a 53 kilometer range, rated range versus Mercedes 69 kilometer electric range. The most we were able to drive was around 50, but again, keep in mind this car, this press car is sitting on upgraded 21-inch rims with the much wider tires, and also which is basically much more than the ratings were based on the base, the standard tires, which are 19-inch rims, and also we're riding on the snow tires, which again affects the consumption. So in ideal warm weather conditions, I'm sure we should be able to get closer to 70 to 80 kilometers range, and that's actually the rated range in Europe. Mind you, in Europe they get access to more of the net capacity. So here it's restricted to 14.4 versus a total gross of 22. In Europe they get access to 19 kilowatt hours, so much more. For some reason, I don't know why, they keep very large buffers on plug-in hybrid cars and almost zero buffers on pure electric cars at BMW. The reason for that might be the battery warranties that are longer here in North America than in Europe. Perhaps if any one of you knows exactly why that is, feel free to comment. And again, if you have any questions regarding this test, we'll be back testing and doing a full test on the E53AMG. We're only able to do a walk around. The car was inside the showroom, but we will be actually doing testing it for a week in the next few weeks. So this will be like a part 2 of the review. But if you have any questions, please comment and we'll try and respond. And as usual, don't forget to press the subscribe button when you're viewing the video, to be informed when the next video will be available. And as always, we have to mention our sponsor, Condos and Castles Realty Inc. You can find them at www.condosandcastles.com. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you at the next review. We forgot to give you the impression of the sport mode, which is usually not the focus of our review because we're all about the electric modes. But this being a plug-in hybrid, the car does have a sport mode. You can activate it by putting it in S, moving this back once more, or pressing sport right here. There you go. The seats are hugging you, the engine comes on, the display changes from the power band to an actual RPM, and you will hear the sounds of the straight 6, which is good for 313 horsepower, and together with the 200 horsepower electric, total system power is 483, good for 4.4 seconds acceleration. So we'll give you a sampling of that. We'll try and accelerate for you. Yeah, it might be a while. The downtown lights are kind of a little off today. But yes, so if you want to keep it in electric, you have to keep it in D or in efficient mode. And the other modes will use the engine as well. There you go. You could see, and these are not fake sounds. We actually tried. These are real straight 6 sounds. I think we suspected that maybe they are being piped in, but no, we opened the windows and this is actually what the straight six sounds, and it sounds quite nice. So again, upgrade from the previous 530e, which had a 4-cylinder turbo. This is a 6-cylinder turbo, same as in the X5 that we tested previously. That's why they are both called X550e and 550e. So it's very similar, hybrid setup in both cars, except the X5 gets a slightly bigger 25.7 gross battery. This one here is 22, of which only 14 are available. So that's about it. We're gonna go back to the quiet mode. This is the S mode, and of course if you use the shift paddles, you go into manual mode. So these shift paddles are not used to change the regen, they are strictly used to change the gears. So M3, M5, and so on and so on. We go back to D for drive, and we change the modes with this button here. We go to efficient, and we're in stealth electric mode, very quiet mode, back again. Thanks for watching.